Okay, so what if pretty much everything you've ever been taught about money is, well, wrong? Today, we're diving into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book that basically challenged millions of people to rethink the whole 9 to 5 grind. It's a philosophy that's caused a ton of debate, but also a ton of inspiration. So let's break down what all the fuss is about. The whole thing starts with this really powerful idea. Just imagine for a second you have two father figures in your life. One tells you, study hard, get good grades, and find a safe, secure job. The other one looks at you and says, that's just about the worst advice anyone could ever give you. So, who do you listen to? And that's the central conflict of the book right there. You've got Poor Dad, who was the author's actual father, a brilliant, highly educated man who believed in job security and that steady paycheck. Then you have Rich Dad, his friend's father, who was an entrepreneur and investor. For him, it wasn't about a safe job, it was about financial freedom. These aren't just two men, they're two completely different ways of looking at the world. So this clash between the two dads, it really sets the stage for the book's first massive lesson, which is a total redefinition of why we even work. Here's where their paths really split. Poor Dad's advice is the one most of us hear our whole lives, right? Work to earn money. But Rich Dad's lesson flips that totally on its head. The goal isn't to work for money. The goal is to get to a point where you have money working for you by building and buying assets. So how do you get money to work for you? Well, that brings us to maybe the most important concept in this entire book, understanding the simple but huge difference between an asset and a liability. The book's definition of an asset is just beautiful in its simplicity. We're not talking about complex financial jargon. An asset, quite simply, is something that puts money into your pocket, period. Think of it like a little money machine that keeps paying you. And a liability? Well, you can probably guess. It's the exact opposite. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. It's a drain, a cost, something that constantly needs to be fed with your cash. Let's make this real. Assets are things that generate income for you, like a business you own, rental properties, or stocks that pay dividends. Liabilities drain your income, things like car loans, credit card debt, and here's the controversial one, the mortgage on your own home. Why? Because it takes money out of your pocket every single month. The book's whole point is that the rich spend their lives buying assets. And this focus on buying up assets isn't just a hobby. It's presented as the one and only way to escape what the book famously calls the rat race, that endless, frustrating cycle of just working to pay the bills. Let's just walk through this cycle because it probably sounds familiar. You get a job to earn a paycheck. That paycheck immediately gets eaten up by taxes and your living expenses. But then, as you earn more, your lifestyle tends to expand, right? So suddenly you need more money, which means you have to work harder or get a better job, and the whole cycle just starts over. You're running faster and faster on a hamster wheel, but you're not actually getting anywhere. So how do you get off the hamster wheel? The book gives one very direct answer. You have to build sources of passive income. This is just money that's generated by your assets. Money that flows to you whether you're actively working at your 9 to 5 or not. But here's the thing. Building wealth isn't just about the numbers. According to the book, it all starts with your mindset. Your biggest financial obstacle isn't your paycheck. It's your own thinking. Think about Poor Dad. When he was faced with something he wanted but couldn't buy, he would say, I can't afford it. The book argues this phrase is like a mental shutdown switch. It's a dead end. The moment you say it, your brain stops looking for a solution. But Rich Dad? He'd ask a question instead. He would ask, how can I afford it? That little shift changes everything. It's not a statement anymore, it's a challenge. It forces your brain to wake up, to get creative, and to start looking for opportunities and solutions. It opens doors instead of slamming them shut. All right, so the philosophy is obviously really powerful. But is it a practical, step-by-step guide? Let's take a quick, balanced look at the book's legacy. Is it inspiration or is it instruction? Look, on the plus side, this book is wildly inspiring. It's easy to understand, it completely challenges conventional thinking, and it really motivates people to take charge of their money. But the critics have a fair point. It's very, very light on the specific how-to steps. It tells you what to do, go buy assets, but not really how. And some say it kind of downplays the very real risks that come with investing in entrepreneurship. So when you get right down to it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't really a technical guide to investing. Its true power is that it's a mindset manual. It's designed to spark a huge shift in your thinking, to get you from thinking like an employee who works for money to thinking like an owner or an investor who makes their money work for them. So as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this to think about. After hearing all these ideas, the assets versus liabilities, escaping the rat race, the power of a simple question, what is one belief about money that you've always held that maybe now you're starting to see in a completely new light? Answering that question for yourself, that's where this journey really begins.